You know, a lot of people at the end of the night are going to be comparing both NXT Takeover tonight and AEW Double or Nothing. A lot of people are already asking me what I thought was the better show, Double or Nothing or NXT Takeover 25. I will not dive into which show was better because I feel like there is really no reason for me to compare shows. AEW did what they did, and they did it great. Wasn't a perfect show, but at the end of the night, it was a damn good first fucking effort that got me excited for what's to come in Chicago and after Chicago on TNT in October when they go to the weekly grind. I am not going to compare NXT to anything because NXT doesn't deserve to be compared to anything else. They are the standard bearer for what happens here in North America. AEW is directly influenced by what happens in NXT. And after tonight, NXT is directly influenced by what happened on Saturday night with Double or Nothing. Mark my words. You see, I'm not going to compare Double or Nothing with NXT TakeOver 25 because Triple H didn't compare NXT to Double or Nothing. He's not going to do that, nor should he do anything like that, because Triple H is a confident man who knows what he's been doing with NXT is the best thing right now in professional wrestling, no matter what happened or who showed up for All Elite Wrestling. The direct influence that AEW had on NXT was shown and showcased in the first two matches of tonight's show. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch everybody that competed in those first two matches tonight for TakeOver 25. Triple H didn't have anybody come out there with a lavish entrance throwing shade at anyone on AEW. He could have easily did it with the Velveteen Dream. He could have easily did it himself. He could have came out there and cut a promo after 25 takeovers, letting everybody know how important this is to him and how great the fans have been for NXT. He could have come out there and cut a promo on AEW taking cheap shots, making little snide remarks. He didn't have to. And he didn't do it. No entrances, nothing himself, nothing from the commentary team. Everything that Triple H has been doing up until this point, he continued to do. But he rallied everybody, and I'm sure he rallied everybody before TakeOver went live. And everybody sat down listening to Triple H, knowing that there's a new competitor in town. And they stepped up their game so much so, not only because AEW is here, but they respect and love and are dedicated to everything that Triple H has done for NXT, and they want to reciprocate that back to Triple H. And at the end of the night, everybody killed themselves to show their allegiance for NXT and why NXT is the best fucking brand in all of North America. Nothing was needed outside of the ordinary. NXT arrives, they put on a 3-hour show, and we are all fucking excited and happy at the end of that 3 hours. There's no reason to compare Double or Nothing to NXT TakeOver 25 tonight. They both offered great things in different ways, and this is the best thing to happen in professional wrestling since the days of the Monday Night Wars. We all know WWE is not going to step up their game because they don't fucking care. Once Vince McMahon is out of WWE and out of power, then we will see change. But right now, WWE is not going to change for the better. The competition only really revolved around AEW and NXT. It's going to make NXT better because Triple H is aware of what's going on. Vince doesn't know or understand what the fuck is going on. I legitimately felt Triple H tonight watching this show. I guarantee you he knows exactly what is going on in the world of professional wrestling. I guarantee you he knows everybody's frustrations with the WWE product. How upset we are, how frustrated we are, how depressed we are, how much we complain. He sees it, he feels it. I'm sure he knows everything. Tonight was his answer to us. I hear you all. I see you all. This is my gift to you. This is what you could expect from me when the time comes. This is what WWE should be. I felt that tonight. I wish Vince McMahon would realize exactly what Triple H realizes. Look at how fucking on fire NXT was to open this show. It wasn't a perfect show, but you know they came out swinging for fucking home runs left and right tonight. The direct influence of AEW was felt all over the first hour of this show. And Triple H realizes that. Triple H is going to take whatever they do and monitor it and make his show better by igniting the passion in everybody. He doesn't need these cheap shots. He doesn't need gimmicks. He doesn't need a surprise return or a major debut to do anything like that. Because he's been doing it for months, well before AEW was even a fucking thought in anybody's head. Triple H is going to continue doing what Triple H does, and that is present WWE the way it should be presented. I've mentioned this to everybody, whether I know you professionally in the community, whether you're a fan who's come up to me to meet and greet, or a StarCast, or whatever. I've said this to legitimately everybody, and I stand by this 100%, even more so after tonight. If NXT has been doing what they've been doing for the last 5 to 6 years, and WWE has not picked up on that, shame on them. If WWE looked to NXT and realized what was going on and applied what NXT has been doing on their main shows, the main roster shows would be better off for it. I firmly believe that. You know, Nigel McGuinness said tonight that NXT is the true alternative in the world of sports entertainment. That was a subtle shot at AEW, and the only subtle shot by commentary all night as it pertains to AEW. No name drops, no mention of anything else. He mentioned that NXT is the true alternative in sports entertainment. I wish Vince McMahon would fucking realize this. NXT's been right underneath his nose. He's been signing the paychecks for every fucking takeover for the last 5 years. If Vince McMahon realized that the true alternative has been right underneath his fucking nose in his own company the last 5 years, things would be better. He refused to realize that. If he didn't realize it with NXT for the last 5 years, what makes you think he's going to realize it with AEW now going to TNT in October? Shame on Vince McMahon. Shame on Vince McMahon. This was a damn good show tonight. Was it the best takeover show I ever seen? The answer is no. Was it a damn good takeover show worthy of takeover? Absolutely. Crowd brought it. Morrow was fucking on fire. The in-ring action was incredible. There was a few down spots, which we'll talk about. A few questionable decisions, which we'll talk about. But again, at the end of the night, we got a great wrestling show tonight. We got a great wrestling show last Saturday. Who's got it better than us? Wrestling right now with AEW and NXT feels great. It feels cool again. And there's excitement right now that I haven't felt in the community in fucking years. I've been doing this podcast for 276 episodes as of this weekend. This is the most excitement that I felt in pro wrestling in a very long time. And that's all I could really ask for. Tonight was a damn good show tonight. We crowned the new NXT champion. And we're going to go over everything that happened tonight on NXT Takeover 25. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am JD from New York. If you guys are new around here, please hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's both on Twitter and Instagram. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. It's completely optional. It's the only way to get exclusive content not available on YouTube. Thank you guys so very much for all your support this weekend with the Patreon page. And hitting that subscribe button. Again, turn on that bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys check out all of this week's videos, man. Obviously, the usual. Raw, SmackDown, NXT's Go Home show, which we talked about in depth. Got an interview from StarCast in Vegas with Private Party, the newest tag team in All Elite Wrestling, directly coming over from House of Glory. Also, we got parts 1 and part 2 of the podcast, episode 276 of Off the Script. Part 1, we go over Jon Moxley ripping into Vince McMahon on Talk is Jericho. And I just found out as of tonight, Moxley was interviewed by PW Torch and Wade Keller, and he goes over shit that he did not mention on Talk is Jericho. So I'm going to listen to that at some point this weekend. And part 2, we talked about and ranted about Stephanie McMahon making sure Brock Lesnar shows up to Monday night, and they are going to condemn him and reprimand him for not cashing in the briefcase when he promised that he would do so. Don't really understand that, but we ranted on how illogical WWE creative is and the reason why Jon Moxley shit all over WWE creative. So if you guys want to hear a nice little epic rant in the beginning of part 2, it's live on the channel right now. Link will be in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of the screen. Drop that bitch down and everything you need will be right there. Podcast tonight's brought to you by Audible, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Download the app on your iPhone and Android device. It's absolutely free. You're going to use our unique link, audibletrial.com/offthescript. You're going to go through the sign-up process. You will not be billed. They're going to ask you for your billing information. You will not be billed. I promise you. Then you're going to get 30 days free of Audible service. So the app that you just downloaded, you got free app. You got free browsing on Audible service for 30 days. On top of that, 30 days free, they're going to give you one free audiobook of your choice, over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are wrestling related. A lot of people listening to podcasts like this and audiobooks to help pass the time, whether you're doing chores at home, whether you're on the way to work or coming home from work, or whether you're just taking a shower in the morning and need something to listen to help pass the time, man. Audiobooks and podcasts are the future. They want to give you a free audiobook as a thank you just for signing up. And the best part is, if you feel like Audible's not for you and you want to cancel, you want to support the podcast but cancel, you can keep your audiobook for free and you will not be billed anytime in the 30 days, man. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Go and support Audible through Off the Script. Before we get into tonight's show, man, I got one very important piece of information I want to go over with you in case you guys did not watch the NXT Takeover pre-show. I usually do not watch the pre-show because nothing really important happens on the NXT pre-shows. But on this night, we were graced with our champion's presence. Tommaso Ciampa was on the pre-show panel, and he was there to let everybody know that he visited his doctor at the 12-week mark from his neck surgery, and he got some great news that he wanted to share with us all. He's now fully cleared for non-contact activity. Therefore, with his progress and work ethic, it might not be too long before he gets back into the ring. Now, Ciampa is dedicated to making his return, and obviously, if you've been watching the WWE PC YouTube channel, you see the documentary that they've done on Ciampa, and you see how hard he's working and how difficult it's been for him to give up the NXT Championship and be taken away from his one true love. He felt great. He jumped on the NXT pre-show desk there with everybody sitting there, and he proclaimed that NXT is still his house. No matter what happens in the main event of tonight's TakeOver, he will still keep his eye on whoever has Goldie. So those are the words of the true NXT champion, Tommaso Ciampa, which you gotta figure that when he comes back, he's going to be thrusted right back into the championship scene because he really never lost it. He had the championship. He was going on to be the greatest sports entertainer of all time, and he deserves a championship match because he never really lost it. He had to vacate the title due to an injury that could have been, I don't want to say avoided, but it could have closed the chapter on Gargano and Ciampa. But it's always a possibility that they could revisit that somewhere down the line in NXT when he is 100% healthy. Now, I don't want to say there's a huge void in NXT because NXT is still excelling like they usually do. But with the demotions of Ricochet, Aleister Black, the War Raiders, EC3, Heavy Machinery, Nikki Cross, Lars Sullivan, and the list goes on, there is some sort of empty void that WWE left in NXT. Tommaso Ciampa is a very small portion of that. WWE has replenished NXT with Shane Strickland. They got Trevor Lee. Kushida is there. Dijakovic. Velveteen Dream is becoming a bigger star than he ever was. Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Matt Riddle, Roderick Strong, Undisputed Era. The list goes on and on. they have plenty of talent to keep them busy for a very long time. It's just the simple fact that Tommaso Ciampa was so good at everything he did, and he excelled at the highest level. I don't think anybody was having more 5-star matches than him or Gargano in NXT. So the fact that he's been taken away from all of this, it definitely is felt. And normally you wouldn't say that about anybody because it's just one guy, but the amount of work and the body of work that Tommaso Ciampa gave to NXT, you can sense that something is missing. That's how great he was. I can't wait for him to come back, and I'm going to fucking jump off my couch when he comes back because I can't wait to see what they do if they visit the final chapter of Gargano and Ciampa. It's going to be very interesting. Maybe they close the chapter for good. Maybe they finish writing the book. It's over with. Maybe they move on to something completely different. I don't know. But him coming back, it's going to open up a whole new world in NXT, and it's going to be a world full of excitement. I can't wait to see what happens when he does come back to NXT TV. The show started off with Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong. This was the only match here tonight that was not a championship match. 4 other matches included championships. This one did not. At the end of this thing, I stated on Twitter, Roderick Strong is one of those guys that I know you all felt the same way I did when he first joined NXT. The guy was fucking completely boring. He was dull. He was as dull as a box of chalk. There was nothing about Roderick Strong that stood out. Bobby Roode tried to bring out the best in Roderick Strong. Didn't work. And then as soon as he turned heel, as soon as he turned on Pete Dunne and joined the Undisputed Era, things completely started to just change for the better for Roderick Strong. Charisma came out. Personality came out. His in-ring ability has never been better. And this has been a career-defining moment for Roderick Strong. This is why it is so important for the Undisputed Era to remain as a unit. I don't give a shit how long they remain a unit. As long as they remain a unit, Roderick Strong's career will continue to rise. I fear if Undisputed Era ever gets broken up, what Roderick Strong's career is going to amount to. I fear that if they get called up to the main roster, that WWE is going to look at all of these guys and just bury them right upon sight. I fear for it all. But tonight, I can honestly say, not only Roderick Strong, but Matt Riddle, this was the best match in both men's NXT career. This was the best match that Roderick Strong has ever wrestled in NXT, and he's had some pretty damn good ones. And this is the best match up until this point that Matt Riddle wrestled himself in NXT. This was a statement match. This was a statement match. They had the most important part of the show tonight. This number one match, this opening match for NXT Takeover was the most important match of the entire night. There's a reason why Velveteen Dream and Tyler Breeze didn't open the show. There was a reason why the tag team title match did not open the show for Takeover 25. There's a reason. Because you don't want to jump out of the gate with gimmicks. You don't want to jump out of the gate with something that is not going to be on par with everything else that's happening that same night with the Velveteen Dream and Tyler Breeze. I'll talk about that in a second, what I really mean on that. There was no way that those two guys were going to go out there and really give you the match that was needed on this night. And I mean that respectfully. The match was great. It just wasn't going to get the job done on the night. And looking back at it, I know you know what I'm talking about. Matt Riddle and Roderick Strong went out there as a statement match, and this was WWE's answer to AEW. Better yet, this was NXT's answer to AEW, because Triple H gets it. WWE does not. This was a statement match for NXT. This was their answer to AEW. What you guys did was great on Saturday night. This is our answer. No cheap shots. Nothing as far as commentary goes. No entrances. No promos by Triple H. Nothing in the opening video package. Straight to the point blank wrestling, pro wrestling, intense pro wrestling for 15 minutes. And that's exactly what they did. This match did not slow down, and it was booked brilliantly. To a point, like I said, both men at the end of the night wrestled their best match in NXT after tonight. Fantastic fucking match that's seen Matt Riddle win and defeat Roderick Strong. This match was so good that you could have put this match in the main event with the NXT Championship on the line, and it would have rivaled anything you guys had planned for the rest of the evening. That's what I love. And imagine that. Just think about that for a second. An undercard match that does not include a championship was as good, if not better, than every championship match that you had on tonight's show. I guarantee you by the end of the night, some of you were actually picking this match to be your match of the night over Gargano and Adam Cole. And I would not blame you whatsoever. Fantastic match. Matt Riddle hits a senton, goes for a cover, 2 count. Matt then hits a GTS into a bridging German suplex for a near fall. Absolutely devastating. Devastating combo. They go back and forth. Strong with a big kick while Riddle is sitting up top on the top rope. Strong climbs up, hits a superplex, but Riddle kicked out. Now at this point, both men are so spent, I'm thinking to myself, man, a suplex like that off the top rope, I imagine how these guys feel after the impact of that move. They trade strikes in the middle of the ring again. Strong ducks a kick and nails a forearm. Riddle counters, goes for a powerbomb. Strong slides out. Then Strong hits a kick and an enziguri. Strong then hits a jumping knee, but Riddle is still up, and the only thing that's holding him up are the ring ropes. And this was probably one of my favorite parts of the entire night. Roderick Strong looked like a man possessed during this sequence. Kicks, enziguris, jumping knee. Riddle won't go down. Strong runs the ropes. He runs the train. Forearm after forearm after forearm. Strong then spikes Riddle into the mat with a power bomb, and Matt Riddle kicks out at a 2 count. The face on Roderick Strong at the end of this thing was all you needed to know about how intense and how much effort these guys were putting into giving you a statement match. Matt hits a ripcord knee. Morrow called it a V-trigger. Ripcord knee. I hate that fucking name. Ripcord knee. It's like a fucking Michael Cole phrase. Matt Riddle hits a V-trigger into a power bomb, and he gets a near fall out of that. Roddy hits a bloody cross into a power bomb for another near fall. Roderick then hits a Boston Crab. He goes for the Boston Crab, turns it into a lion tamer. Not the fucking Boston Crab that Jericho usually does. Not the fucking Walls of Jericho. It's a legit lion tamer with the fucking leg lifted back and your fucking knees digging right into the side of your head. So he goes for that, and Matt counters into a bro mission before Strong counters, and Matt then hits what looked to be a Styles Clash. I don't know if it was one-armed or a full-on Styles Clash, but he hits a Styles Clash for the pin and the win, and Matt Riddle wins this opening match, which again, I will state and reiterate, was a statement match for NXT TakeOver. Matt Riddle, I mentioned on my TakeOver preview and predictions, I didn't think Roderick Strong was going to beat Matt Riddle in this match, just based on how things transpired with the bloody slipper and the whole Undisputed Era teasing a breakup. Matt Riddle needed his revenge. This was his revenge. He got the big win over Roderick Strong. Matt Riddle winning this certainly puts him in contention to take down another member of the Undisputed Era. Conveniently, the same guy who just beat Johnny Gargano tonight for the NXT Championship, none other than Adam Cole. They had a great match on NXT TV a couple weeks back. Can you imagine that match amplified at a TakeOver show, possibly SummerSlam weekend? Matt Riddle's next in line, and I stated it. I didn't think Johnny Gargano was going to walk out of here with the NXT Championship. I did not believe it. And I'll go over exactly why I thought that when we talk about that match. But Matt Riddle tonight with a win, I see him challenging for the NXT Championship much sooner rather than later. This was a fantastic match. This may be in my top 10 at the end of the year. Absolutely phenomenal match. Both men delivered the best match of their NXT career. NXT Tag Team Championship ladder match. Fatal 4-way. The Forgotten Sons, Street Profits, Lorcan and Birch, and then the Undisputed Era. Every one of these teams earned their paycheck tonight. Every single one of these teams. There's not one fucking team on this paper that I'm looking at that is feeling good tonight, There's not one team that you should be disrespecting in any way, even though the Forgotten Sons are on everybody's shit list. They earned their fucking paycheck tonight. Every single one of these teams. This is the first takeover legitimately for both Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. That's a shock in itself, seeing how good they are. This is their first takeover. Unbelievable. Street Profits entered through the stage and into the crowd to be amongst the Connecticut crowd with everybody holding up red Solo cups. Great sight. Pretty damn awesome to see. The Forgotten Sons were treated with a very forgettable entrance from the Connecticut crowd. Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake have been great as of late. No matter what you think of them, they're boring. They don't have much charisma. There's nothing going on with them. No matter what you think of Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake, these guys have been a damn good team in recent weeks, and they were my MVPs, even though they didn't win the Dusty Classic. They were my MVPs in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. This is also their first takeover as well, I believe. Someone correct me if I am wrong on that. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch have been on TakeOver before. NXT Takeover Chicago against the Undisputed Era, which was one of my favorite tag team matches in the last couple of years. Second time in as many matches, we are hearing the Undisputed Era's theme music. We heard it with Roddy, obviously. Now we're hearing it with the Undisputed Era. It's a minor pet peeve of mine, but that all changed in the main event. We would have heard it for the third time, which we did, but there was a slight alteration to that in the main event when Cole came out for his match with Gargano. But I find it to be a pet peeve because I feel like when you hear a Stables theme song twice, 3 times, 4 times in one night, the impact of that lessens throughout the night. I don't really like that. But it's just a minor pet peeve of mine. Not something that really takes away from the match. Just something that I like to bitch about. Now, it's good to see Bobby Fish. He was actually hurt on a recent house show. They threw up the X sign. I guess it wasn't as serious as I thought it was, or as people made it out to be. But he was okay here. Recent injury scare, and this is the first time that he has gotten a shot, or the Undisputed Era have gotten a title shots since Bobby Fish has returned, after O'Reilly had teamed with Strong through most of 2018. Undisputed Era owned the match from the start, taking out all the other teams. Lorcan and Burch had a stare down with the Undisputed Era, kind of reliving their match in Chicago. Undisputed Era kept all other teams out of the ring. They dominated the match, kept everybody else out of the ring, and they were the first team to grab a ladder. Wesley Blake seen this and decided to kill himself. Legitimately, he says, "I want to die tonight." And he did a suicide dive on both members of the Undisputed Era, both on O'Reilly and Fish, as they were carrying a ladder to the ring. And he suicide dove through the ropes, injuring himself more than he did the members of the Undisputed Era. So that was the first, oh my God, holy shit moment of the entire match. Everyone was on the outside after Undisputed Era was taken out. Angelo Dawkins decides to commit suicide here, dove off the top rope, taking everybody out with one of those big crossbodies. Profits were in the ring. They scaled the ladder. Undisputed Era rose from the ashes on the outside. They stopped the Profits from ascending the ladder. Then the Sons pushed both members of the Undisputed Era off the ladder, and O'Reilly came down so hard on the ladder that was positioned against the ring ropes down below that it made his back legitimately bleed for the rest of the match. He was so much in pain, writhing in pain, that the camera had a close-up shot on him and he was flopping around like a fish. I felt his pain from sitting on my couch. It was fucking bad. Holy shit. So, the Sons, at this point, had gotten the ladder. They used it as battering rams on all the teams. They were just dominating until Lorcan and Burch came in and stopped that. They had the ladder, collectively held both Blake and Cutler, and both Lorcan and Burch did German suplexes to both members of the Sons with the ladder still in their hands. The ladder went flying. Bobby Fish was trying to come through. He was crawling around. The ladder missed him by inches, and he's lucky he didn't get fucking killed in the process after these German suplexes. Profits went back in. Montez Ford hit a monstrous splash on Oney Lorcan. Profits took out Wesley Blake with some devastating double team moves on a ladder until Bobby Fish stopped that. Ladder was draped over the middle rope, and Fish German suplex Montez Ford on the ladder, bounced off, very similar to the way Andrade made Finn Balor bounce off the ladder at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Undisputed Era then try and climb the ladder. Bobby Fish was up top. And Steve Cutler powerbombed Fish into the ladder to knock him off. That was fucking crazy. Legitimately, bodies being thrown in power bombs to knock other people off ladders. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The Suns now are on top of the ladder, and Cutler jumps off the ladder with a foot stop, threw Bobby Fish off the ladder. Crowd was shitting all over the Suns climbing up the ladder because they didn't want them to win the match whatsoever. Lorcan took out Cutler with a super European uppercut off the top rope. Montez Ford did a super blockbuster on Wesley Blake off the top rope on the other end of the ring. O'Reilly climbing the ladder, and Jackson Ryker now enters the match. He's destroying everyone in sight, trying to clear the path for the Forgotten Sons to win their first NXT Tag Team titles, literally brutalizing Angelo Dawkins with a ladder. Lorcan tried, and he got fucking destroyed in the process. Back body drop on to a ladder by Ryker. Crowd at this point was chanting, "We forgot you." Jackson Ryker is one of the reasons why people do not like the Forgotten Sons. I can find more charisma in a fucking dryer sheet than Jackson Ryker. Yet I appreciate the effort that the Forgotten Sons do collectively when it's Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake. Jackson Ryker, I don't know what it is. I just can't get into him. In comes Montez Ford, and nothing. He tries his hand at Jackson Ryker and comes up shorthanded. Every team comes in, and now they start taking out Ryker collectively. All these teams are beating up each other, and they see Jackson Ryker dominating everybody else. They're like, you know what, let's put off our differences for about 15 seconds to get this fucking loser out of the ring, and that's exactly what they did. They start smashing a ladder over his back. Ryker somehow gets up, and Undisputed Era used ladders one final time as a battering ram to get him out of the ring. They knock him out of the ring. Montez Ford decides that extra is needed here. He flies over the top rope with a fucking tope. And I don't know whether Jackson Ryker was positioned too far away or he was supposed to catch Montez Ford and just did not. But Montez Ford leaped over the top rope and barely hit Jackson Ryker on the way down. The fact that he reached Jackson Ryker at the length that they were separated was a fucking miracle in itself. And Jackson Ryker could go fuck himself if he legitimately forgot to not catch Montez Ford in that spot. That could have been seriously dangerous. Ryker was completely out of position for what it looked like to me, and he had absolutely no opportunity to catch Ford on the way down. Just a bad spot altogether. Lorcan and Birch take out Undisputed Era. They throw Fish into the steel post. Lorcan with an exploder on Riley. Sandwich the Profits with a ladder sandwich. They throw a ladder on the Suns on the outside. Absolutely brutal at this point. Ring is clear for them to climb up. They climb up, and Undisputed Era is back in to intervene. Two ladders now set up. We got both Lorcan and Birch and the Undisputed Era positioned on both ladders, fighting for position up top for the NXT Tag Team titles. O'Reilly grabbed the title momentarily. Both teams killing each other on the top of the ladder. The Suns underneath the ladder like a Jenga tower, says Mauro Ranallo. Everything comes collapsing and everything comes down. Wesley Blake climbs up. The Suns are on their way to winning. Cutler is down below holding the ladder, so he's making sure nothing is going to get in the way of them winning. Dawkins comes out of nowhere with a spear on Cutler. He takes out Cutler from underneath the ladder. Montez Ford springs in off the top rope, jumps from the top rope springboard onto the ladder, and he knocks Blake up off top, and he grabs the tag team titles, and the Street Profits, fucking men, finally win the NXT Tag Team Championships. Oh my goodness. If this team did not win the Tag Team Championships, I would have been legitimately pissed. This was the right decision, the right team won, and they are now where they belong as NXT Tag Team Champions. If they didn't win the NXT Tag Team Championships, I would have felt that they would have been this version of NXT's Enzo and Cass. We don't want that. They're much better than Enzo and Cass, and they deserve this more than anybody right now in the tag team division. I still don't know why, and I mentioned this on my NXT review, I don't know why the War Raiders are off TV for 2 weeks, now 3 weeks. I'm assuming it's 3 weeks. They're off TV for all these weeks, and they're not really being used. Why they couldn't be used in this match to drop the titles to one of these teams, and on their way out, do the deed. Or even better yet, a lot of people don't even agree with that. A lot of people much rather would have seen them drop the titles on NXT TV to the Street Profits. Or not at TV, but that match should have been tonight here at TakeOver, with the Street Profits going over the War Raiders in probably what would have been a great match in its own right. But either way, we got the same result. The result that we wanted, we had to wait a little bit longer for. We got the result that we wanted here. The Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, finally are NXT Tag Team Champions. Who they will go up against? I don't know, man. After the main event, I feel like the tide is swinging back in the favor of the Undisputed Era. So we'll see what happens with that. But congratulations to Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. This was one of the most brutal tag team matches that I've seen contested in a ladder match. Every single one of these guys earned their paycheck tonight. My God, the brutality. Again, this was a statement match. Gimmicks, yes. But man, everybody, all 8 guys went out there and legitimately said, AEW who? You ain't coming into our fucking territory, taking over our hype, man. You ain't stealing our thunder away from us. That's exactly what each one of these guys said to themselves, and they went out there and legitimately made it a thing to where it was very difficult for anybody to follow this shit the rest of the night. Congratulations to all 4 of these teams and for the Street Profits for winning the NXT Tag Team Championships. Tyler Breeze and the Velveteen Dream. This is a match I was looking forward to. I'm a big fan of Patrick Clark, and this is the most important match of Tyler Breeze's NXT career. Not only his NXT career, this is the most important match of Tyler Breeze's WWE career. And man, it's unbelievable how he's envisioned in NXT as a superstar, and on the main roster he was nothing more than, like Dream said, playing cops and robbers. It's pathetic. It's really sad how he looks more like a star here than he's ever have in WWE on the main roster. This was a great match. Dream looks like an absolute star. He wore gold pants, glittered from top to bottom. He looked more like Prince tonight than ever before. And I think that was because of his choice of outfit. I think it was that shirt that he wore. He wore one of them puffy shirts. He looked really, really fucking good. I think it was the shirt, like I said, he gave off those Prince vibes. Dream, it was noted that he is the 4th North American champion in NXT history. Tyler Breeze came out wearing all black, very sleek, very simple. Dream took off his gloves, threw them at Breeze. A lot of showboating in the early stages of this match. Breeze just laughed, and he applauded Velveteen Dream for being Velveteen Dream. Breeze played some mind games here with Dream, laying on the top rope, doing his nonchalant thing like he's usually known for doing. Dream took offense and hit a big clothesline and a huge backbreaker for a near fall. Dream actually hit a massive second rope springboard moonsault on Breeze. Always something new from Dream every takeover. Dream had his leg wrapped around the steel post early, and that was the focus point in Breeze, in his offense, I should say, early on for him in this match. Breeze was more intense here than ever I have ever seen him before. In fact, both men were very stiff and intense. Super kicks were the name of the game tonight. Too many super kicks on this takeover. If there's one takeaway from this entire show, too many super kicks. After a super kick from Dream on Breeze, he continued to slam Breeze's face on the announce desk. Dream then took a selfie after his destruction of Breeze on the announce table, took the North American title, took Tyler Breeze's phone from the timekeeper's area, and took a selfie of himself with Dream and Breeze just laying there on the table and the North American title all in one shot. Breeze pretty much said indirectly, fuck you, and Dream ate a supermodel kick. Back in the ring, quick Dream Valley driver for a near fall. Dream looked for the purple Rainmaker, and Breeze rolled to the outside, having Dream very well scouted. Dream went for another Dream Valley driver, countered. Dream went for the Dream DT. I love it. I don't know if that's something he's legitimately calling it, but Mauro Ranallo is a class act. He went for the Dream DT, and Breeze countered. Supermodel kick for a close near fall. Dream went for a springboard cross body and ate a huge drop kick from Breeze. Dream nailed the Dream DT quickly and got a near fall. Dream up top again. Breeze caught him. Dream was crotched on the top rope. Dream played possum as Breeze took down Dream off the top, threw him across the ring from a front face lock position. Both men traded tombstone reversals into a stalemate. Dream went for the same springboard crossbody like he just attempted just moments ago. Breeze went for the dropkick again. He went for a dropkick the first time. He connected. Same sequence, same thing happens. Dream held on to the top rope. Breeze went for the dropkick. He missed the dropkick. Dream held on, and that was pretty much it for that transition. Dream came off the top rope, hit a beautiful unprettier on Tyler Breeze. The unprettier is one of Tyler Breeze's signature moves. Tyler gets his knees up when Dream attempts to go for the Purple Rainmaker, hits the supermodel kick into the unprettier for a near fall. Breeze delivered an unprettier of his own right that was so brutal it landed Dream on top of his head, and I honestly thought that was the end of Dream's reign as North American champion. Breeze then hit a beauty shot. That's his finishing move, the beauty shot. And Dream rolled to the outside, having Breeze's finisher really well scouted. Dream was dead weight at that point, could not lift Dream back into the ring. He stops the referee's count. Breeze legitimately stops the referee's count because he could not manage to get Dream back into the ring. So Dream took the North American title into the ring, and Breeze, at this point, I don't know why Dream grabbed the title, but at this point, Breeze grabbed the title. And he then realized that he had the North American Championship in his hand. He didn't want to get disqualified. Threw it to the referee. Dream took advantage of this slight lack of attention on Tyler Breeze's behalf. Dream Valley Driver, Purple Rainmaker, retains the title. And the Velveteen Dream is still your North American Champion. After the match, mutual sign of respect, if you want to say that. Because the Velveteen Dream was acting like a fucking prick. But I guess you could say mutual sign of respect. Dream takes a selfie with Tyler Breeze, and that was it. This was a very good match, but at the end of the night, these guys got placed in the come-down position. And they had a lot to do to just battle back from the first two matches and what they did in the first two matches. This was placed in a very, very bad position, and I don't even blame them. I don't even blame them. You know, you could have put anybody in that position. You could have put Cole and Gargano in that position, and they would have felt the same way. That crowd would have felt the same way. After the first two matches that we seen, it was a very difficult task for the Velveteen Dream and Tyler Breeze to battle back from what we seen in those first two matches. They did an admirable job, but the crowd at that point was really taken out of the show just slightly. They were into the match. The near falls were believable. They were still very vocal. But I think a lot of other people expected a little bit more as far as a Velveteen Dream match goes from a crowd's point of view. Especially a Tyler Breeze returning to NXT and being on TakeOver, this being the biggest match of his WWE career. I expected a little bit more from the crowd, but there was a little bit of that tiredness from the first two matches that Dream and Tyler Breeze did an excellent job at trying to battle back from, but they just couldn't do it. They delivered a great match, but at the end of the night, when you look back at everything, this match was placed in the come-down position, which normally goes to the women, which I was surprised to not see Io and Shayna Baszler in this spot. And when I seen this match in the number 3 position and the women's title match in the number 4 position, I was thinking, maybe we're going to see a title change here, and Io is going to be the new women's champion. So the come-down spot went to Tyler Breeze and the Velveteen Dream. They did a great job, but at the end of the night, it could have been that much better. It's just the first two matches took so much away from what these guys did in match number 3. Moving on, man. We'll finish the rest of the review after this quick break. Harry's. Harry's.com/script. They are the number 1 sponsor right here on Off the Script. And they've been with me for almost 2 years now. Did you guys know that the average guy spends 3,000 hours of his lifetime shaving? Don't waste 4 months of your life overpaying for poor-performing razors. We waste our life every Monday watching poor-performing Vince McMahon on Monday Night Raw. So don't do the same for your razors, okay? Please, believe me. Now, I love the close shave that Harry's provides. I love the smooth glide of the blade. I love the low price. You know, over 10 million people have tried Harry's, and I want you guys to do the same. Claim your special offer today by going to harrys.com/script. Harry's founders were just two regular guys who were tired of getting ripped off and paying for overpriced gimmicks, vibrating heads, flex balls, handles that look like props in a sci-fi movie. These are just some of the tactics that these leading brands have used to overcharge us for years. Harry's makes quality, durable blades at a fair price, $2 a blade. To keep prices low, they cut out the middleman. Harry's bought a world-class blade factory in Germany that's been making quality blades for over 99 years. Now they can provide great quality at factory direct prices and a 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, let them know and they will give you a full refund. What you guys are going to get, JD, this sounds great, but what the hell am I getting? You're going to get a razor handle for an easy grip. You got a choice of color and 3 choices to choose from: orange, the evergreen, or the navy blue. 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade for a close, comfortable shave. Rich lathering shave gel that will leave you smelling great. And a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy on the go. Listeners of my show can redeem their trial set by going to harrys.com/script. Make sure you guys go to harrys.com/script to redeem your offer and let them know that JD sent you to help support Off the Script. Continuing on here with the NXT Takeover XXV review right here on Off the Script. Fourth match of the night was the NXT Women's Championship match. Io Shirai versus Shayna Baszler. And every single time I want to say Shayna Baszler's going to lose, she always ends up winning and retains the NXT Women's Championship. I honestly do not think this woman is ever going to be defeated for the NXT Women's Championship. She is fucking incredible. And the funny thing about Shayna Baszler is, a lot of people, they don't like her for whatever reason, but it's not the fact that people don't like Shayna Baszler because she's annoying or she's shoved down your throat. People legitimately don't like Shayna Baszler because she's fucking good at what she does, and she constantly wins because she's fucking good at what she does. It's legitimate heel heat. Shayna Baszler has that entire role down perfectly. And there's no reason to ever go against Shayna Baszler because she's that fucking good. And I absolutely love it. I was surprised by this outcome. Now, a lot of people wanted Io to win. A lot of people thought Io was going to win. There were some people who thought Io winning was too soon. That it was not Io's time. I was actually in the camp of, I honestly think it's time for Io to win the title and for Shayna to drop the title and for Shayna to get called up. But I've been saying Shayna's going to get called up for the last 6 months, probably longer than that, and that hasn't happened yet. Probably lucky she doesn't get called up. This was a good match. It went about 13 minutes, 13 minutes. And nothing out of the ordinary here with the introductions. Io made her entrance, typical entrance for Io. Shayna surprisingly left Marina and Jessamine Duke in gorilla position and came to the ring all by herself with nothing more than the NXT Women's Championship. Match started off with Io trying to avoid what Mauro calls the reality check. That's where Shayna Baszler just props your arm back and steps on your fucking elbow, and it looked devastating. I cringe. It's like Pete Dunne's fucking, bending of the fingers. I cringe every time I see it. It's that fucking brutal. That's why they call it the reality check, Gus. I feel it in real time. So, she was trying to avoid the reality check. I'm sure Justin LaBar will be happy. Now, Shayna did eventually get this on Io Shirai. And that's where Shayna continues to dominate. She dictated the match to her liking, trying to dissect Io from every aspect on from that point. Now, Io seen a chance when Shayna missed a running knee strike in the corner and then went for a German suplex, but she couldn't bridge the German because of the elbow issue with Shayna stepping on her elbow. 619 springboard missile dropkick, which is beautiful always from Io. 619 springboard missile dropkick and a near fall for Shirai. Both started to slug it out in the middle of the ring, and Io turns the exchange into a crossface. Shayna fights back and breaks it up with a sidewalk slam. She legitimately lifted Io from the crossface position and got out of it by doing a sidewalk slam. Kevin Nash will be proud. Let's go Io and let's go Shayna chants going on as Shayna had an armbar applied from the top rope on Io. Io escaped, dropkick Shayna off the top rope to the outside, climbs up top, delivers a beautiful moonsault to Shayna on the outside. Back in the ring, Io up top, missile dropkick, double knees, Io up top again, And down come the horsewomen. Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke show face, but out comes Candice LeRae with the kendo stick, wailing away on both Marina and Jessamine Duke. Io, like a dumb baby face, is cheering on Candice on the entire attack in the ring. Candice is swinging away. Io's in the ring cheering her on. And Shayna is laying in the middle of the ring. She's took her attention away from Shayna, and I'm like, turn the fuck around. I legitimately start yelling, turn the fuck around. What are you doing? What is happening out there is none of your business. Your friend has everything under control. Worry about what's happening in the ring. So Io's cheering Candice on and gets rolled up by Shayna for a 2 count. Shayna went for the clutch. Io got out of it. Io went for a moonsault, landed on her feet. LeRae beats up on Duke outside and Marina Shafir on the outside. Flurry of kicks, standing Kirifuda clutch. Shirai gets out, knocks Baszler down, goes for the moonsault. Baszler rolls up, another clutch. Shirai rolls into a cover for a 2 count. The same cover that Ember Moon beats Shayna Baszler with. Or Kairi Sane, I should say. Or did Ember Moon beat Shayna Baszler the same way that Io tried to beat Shayna Baszler tonight? I'm not sure. I know Kairi did it, but Ember Moon, I know, did the same exact thing as well. So Shirai went for the cover, rolled her up. Roundhouse kick by Baszler, or roundhouse kick to Baszler, rather. Shirai with another cover. Baszler rolls under. Baszler is covered again, slips out. Kirifuda clutch on the mat. Baszler is squeezing Shirai's head at this point, but she is nearly to the ropes. I love Shayna Baszler because Io was inching and inching and inching. You know what Shayna does? The mark of a great fucking mat tactician, man. She grabbed the leg from Io. She grabbed Io's leg and bent the leg back. The leg that was closest to the rope. She's like, nah, give me your leg, and pulled the fucking leg back, preventing Io from getting to the rope with her legs, man. Shirai at this point is desperate. Baszler leans back to keep Shirai off the ropes. Shirai is floundering. All of a sudden, fades away, and Shirai weakly taps out. And that is it. Io Shirai taps out to Shayna Baszler, and she retains the NXT Women's Championship. After the match, she is so pissed off, she takes the kendo stick and starts beating Shayna Baszler up with the kendo stick, leaving welts on her back. Candice is on the outside. Io Shirai tells Candice something. Candice goes underneath the ring, grabs a steel chair, hands the steel chair to Io Shirai, and Io Shirai goes off the top rope and does a moonsault with the steel chair in hand. Brutal stuff. Now, at this point, I'm thinking to myself, this really doesn't make any sense. Io's a babyface, and Candice is a babyface who tried to help Io, who's a babyface. She goes the heel route and shows massive disrespect as far as unsportsmanlike conduct. Kendo stick beating up on Shayna Baszler, steel chair, moonsaults. Why is this babyface in Io Shirai acting like a heel in this instance on said heel in Shayna Baszler? Now, what does this mean? Do we get these two continuing their feud, possibly in a no DQ match during SummerSlam weekend at NXT Takeover Toronto? Or is this Candice LeRae's opportunity? Because Io Shirai lost clean. Nobody in that match touched or laid a finger on Io Shirai. Io Shirai lost clean. She tapped out clean. Now, is this a case where they're going to get a rematch? Or is Candice LeRae going to be the one to beat Shayna Baszler, turning Io heel, and we're going to get Candice versus Io for the Women's Championship for the remainder of the year? I don't know. I don't really know. All I know is I'm going to go back to what I stated in the beginning of the year. I honestly think Bianca Belair should be the NXT Women's Champion, and she should be right now going up against Io or the likes of Io and Candice LeRae. And Shayna should be called up to the main roster. No matter how the main roster is operating right now, I honestly think Shayna should be on the main roster and Bianca Belair should be the NXT Women's Champion. That's just the way I feel. But now that we got Shayna as the champion still, it makes sense for little old babyface Candice to beat Shayna. Big bad bully. We'll see what happens. Going to be a very interesting situation for the Women's Championship. NXT Championship match. Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano. Match number 2 between these two beasts. Josiah Williams comes out to rap over the Undisputed Era's theme song. And I don't know who he is or where he's from. It wasn't bad by any means. I just don't think Adam Cole needs someone to rap his theme music because his entrance is already so impactful and he's an impactful performer in his own right that I don't really think you need to add anything to it. That's just my takeaway on that. To each his own. If you enjoyed it, so be it. I didn't really think it was needed. That's my take on that. Johnny Gargano came out wearing Superman colors tonight. The crowd is more cold than they are Johnny. It seems like it's a fucking theme, especially since he's been champion. Well, I mean, this is his first title defense on a major takeover show, so I don't really think we have anything to base it off of. But I would say with these takeover shows, it's more pro the other person in the match with Johnny, and everybody's kind of against Johnny Gargano for whatever reason. I don't know why. This match really showed everybody's true colors. They were more pro Cole than they were for Johnny Gargano. Match started off on fire with both guys going for their finishing moves. Johnny for the Gargano escape and Adam Cole for the last shot. Johnny looked for an opening several minutes into the match and found it in Cole's arm. Cole on the outside, Johnny on the apron with a soccer-style kick, followed up with a double foot stomp right across Adam Cole's left arm. Johnny's working the arm. That was his strategy going forward as Adam Cole was on the defensive. Cole found his opening on Johnny's right leg. Gargano was up top. Cole kicked Johnny's leg out off the top rope. He fell to the mat. Obviously, the knee was going to be an issue from this point on for Johnny Gargano. Now, at this point, I'm thinking to myself, can they outdo themselves with what they did at TakeOver New York? And at this point, I'm starting to see things progress. I put my notepad away, and I start watching the match, and I start living in the moments, because I knew at that point when both men found a weakness in each other, the arm of Cole and the leg of Gargano, that things were really going to pick up, and this was going to be a big focus point on both men's performance in this match. So I stopped taking notes during this match, and I lived in the moment for the rest of the match. When this thing was all said and done, I honestly don't think that they outdid themselves from TakeOver New York. I'm not saying it was a bad match by any stretch, but if you look back at the first match and everything that happened with the 2 out of 3 fall situation, and the story that stipulation played into for the entirety of that match, the Undisputed Era coming down after the referee bump, and you mix that all with Johnny's chase of the NXT Championship after Ciampa went out, and the magic that was there with Ciampa going out and the title being vacated, and his chase of 2 years for the championship, and all this shit is being thrown at him, and they're doing the best thing that they possibly can to leave you on the edge of your seat. Is he going to do it? What's going to fuck him over this time? Moments like that don't really come around all that often, and that was a moment that I believe is their greatest moment in the history of NXT. That match was the greatest NXT match that they have ever produced. It's very difficult to go into this and try and recreate that or even come close to that. By no means was this a bad match, but they were never going to top what they did in New York. Never. Even if Adam Cole and how popular Adam Cole is, and everybody wanted to see Adam Cole win the NXT Championship, there was no way that you were going to top what you did in New York, because the story was different. The story for Johnny was different. The story for Adam Cole is a justified one. He deserved the title. If he didn't win the title tonight, Undisputed Era would be looked at as a joke. Undisputed Era would be looked at as a weakened stable, and you don't want to make them look weak. If Adam Cole didn't get the job done tonight, he was never going to get the job done. Adam Cole, I've said it time and time again, has been a product of bad timing. With every situation that happened, whether it was Almas, Aleister Black, Drew McIntyre, Adam Cole was always there. Ricochet. Can't even put Ricochet into the equation. Then you had Gargano and Ciampa. Every situation that Adam Cole was in, it was always a situation of bad timing. And it was not even his fault. It was just the fact that NXT developed these fucking guys. They signed these guys. They developed these fucking stories and these matches that came out of everything that happened pushed Adam Cole back, further and further and further. And it was not even his fault, because he was right in the middle of that shit, giving you top-notch shit. It was his time. No matter how much I love Johnny Gargano, no matter how much I would love to see Johnny Gargano win a fucking match as a champion, no matter how much I wanted to see him defend his fucking title at the first show that he had an opportunity to defend it, it was Adam Cole's time. And they did not touch what they did in New York. They didn't. By the end of this thing, it was a lot of super kicks. It was a lot of false finishes. It was them trying too hard to do what they did in New York, to a point where Johnny Gargano did the last shot and Adam Cole did the Gargano escape. At that point, you know that you really don't have any more to tell and that you're tapped out on story to tell in the middle of that ring. When you have to resort to using somebody else's finisher, that pretty much is waving the white flag. This feud is over. We're going to move on to something else. And in no way is that a bad match. It's just not really all that creative, if you ask me. Match number 1, best thing that they've ever done. You look back at the best match in NXT history, that's going to be number 1. At the end of the night, Adam Cole won the NXT Championship, rightfully so. The last few notes that I did add here, Johnny locked in the Gargano escape before Adam turned that into a figure 4. And I love the fact that he used the figure 4 because Gargano's knee was all fucked up. Johnny rolling over, reversing the pressure of the figure 4 before Adam gets to the ropes for a rope break. Adam goes back to Johnny's knee. Johnny hits a draping DDT before Adam super kicks Johnny in midair when he goes for a suicide dive. Johnny, I don't know if this was planned. I don't know if it was planned, but it looked like Johnny botched the suicide dive, but Adam Cole and Johnny played that botch off beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. And I even wrote in my notes, because it was the first thing that I had to write down, because I was watching the match with such intent that I had to write what Morrow said here. He said, Adam Cole's timing makes a metronome jealous. Then Cole delivered a fucking Panama Sunrise on the outside, and Morrow says, are we seeing the sunset of Johnny Gargano's title reign? Fucking unbelievable, man. Morrow is a fucking class act. I love him. So, the suicide dive, the super kick. Adam hits a Panama Sunrise on the floor before rolling Johnny back into the ring for a near fall. Adam counters the Gargano escape into one of his own. Johnny hits Adam with the last shot for a near fall before they exchange strikes again until Johnny turns Adam inside out with a lariat. They exchange super kicks before Johnny hits a reverse hurricanrana, and Adam hits the last shot for a near fall before Johnny accidentally takes out the referee with the suicide dive when he's arguing with Adam Cole about a chair. Johnny super kicks the chair into Adam's face before tossing him back into the ring, and Adam hits a draping code breaker for a near fall. Now, when the referee is down, before even anything that I just said happened, the referee was in the ring. They rolled the referee back into the ring. Adam Cole was blocking the referee's point of view. Johnny Gargano looked at Adam Cole in the ring, and Adam Cole was waving for the Undisputed Era to come on out, and nobody came out. Now, I didn't know who was going to come out. I thought somebody was going to come out at this point, but I didn't know who was going to come out. Kevin Owens was teasing something on social media. I thought legitimately that Kevin Owens was going to fucking show up and take out Johnny Gargano and help Adam Cole win and join the Undisputed Era. That's what I thought was going to fucking happen. Nobody came out. Adam Cole's waving and waving and waving for somebody to come out, and nobody came out. And Johnny had his attention on the aisle, ready with a steel chair to take out the Undisputed Era if they did show their face in this match, which took him out of the match. So Adam and Johnny now are in the ring. Referee is out. He got taken out by a suicide dive. He's back in the ring, coming to. Johnny super kicks a chair into Adam's face before tossing him back into the ring. Adam hits a draping code breaker for a near fall. Adam then elbows his way out of the Gargano escape before Adam hits a Panama Sunrise into the last shot for the pin and the win. Adam Cole defeats Johnny Gargano via pinfall with the last shot to become the new NXT champion. How brilliant was Adam Cole waving to the Undisputed Era, come on out, and nobody came out, and using that as a distraction for himself to get one over on Johnny Gargano. That is class act heel right there. Brilliant stuff. Like I said, Adam Cole needed the NXT Championship title tonight. Even though Johnny really didn't do anything with it, I honestly think it's going to go from Adam Cole to Matt Riddle. And then when we get Tommaso Ciampa coming back, who the fuck knows what's going to happen? Tommaso Ciampa is going to be that wild card that's going to inject more excitement into the NXT brand, and who knows where he's going to end up, because we all know that Goldie is coming back home sooner rather than later. This was a good match, but not on the level of what they did in match number 1, and it was all because of the story that was told. I don't think this match was really needed in this particular situation, and the only reason why the match was made because they really didn't have anybody else lined up for Johnny Gargano, and Adam Cole was the only logical opponent, and if Adam didn't do it, it was never going to happen. And looking back at what happened, what did I say in the preview predictions? Matt Riddle was going to win his match against Roderick Strong. I didn't think the Undisputed Era were going to win the tag team titles. I was always in the mindset of the Street Profits winning. And Adam Cole was not going into this match with Undisputed Era losing the tag team titles and Roderick Strong losing to Matt Riddle. Adam Cole was not going into this match losing, and the Undisputed Era coming out of TakeOver 25 losing 3 of the 5 matches. That was not going to happen. Why would you even think that? Plus, if they lost, what would that do to the story of them getting back together? It would pretty much revert them back to square one. So with Adam Cole winning the championship, it's like they hit the fucking game-winning single in the bottom of the 9th inning to win the fucking game. Now they go on happy, you know? Now they're together. They might have lost, but Adam Cole got what he wanted. He is the NXT champion, and that is the glue that holds Undisputed Era together. From that point, it's going to be a domino effect. Adam Cole's got his championship. Roddy's going to beat Velveteen Dream, and the Undisputed Era are going to beat the Street Profits for the NXT Tag Team titles, and the Undisputed Era is going to have all the gold in NXT by the end of the year. So we'll see what happens, man. This was a great show. In no way you should compare this to Double or Nothing. Both offered great situations and great events for their own particular reasons. And NXT is only going to get better because of what AEW is doing from here on out. Triple H knows that. He doesn't have to resort to fucking cheap tactics or cheap shots. He's going to do what he continues to do with NXT. That is the only thing you need to do. And I said again, the only thing you need to do is look at everybody's performance tonight. That in itself is their answer for all elite wrestling. We all want pro wrestling. We all want legitimacy in pro wrestling. Triple H did that tonight to the very best of his ability. He's going to continue doing that. And if he gets better with NXT because of AEW, where is the bad or the wrong in that? Vince McMahon needs to fucking hurry up and get on the same page as Triple H and make his product better because of what AEW is doing. Triple H is leading the charge, and hopefully everybody else soon will follow behind him. I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so very much for all your support. This was NXT TakeOver 25. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know down below what you thought, what was your favorite matches, and I would be very curious to know what you thought about this compared to Double or Nothing. Do you utter the same sentiments that I do, or did you prefer one over the other? Let me know down below. I'm getting out of here, guys. Hit that thumbs up. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Harrys.com/script. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. And make sure you guys go check out all the other videos that you might have missed this week. Raw, SmackDown, NXT. You got Off the Script this weekend with Jon Moxley and Brock Lesnar cashing in his Money in the Bank contract on Off the Script Parts 1 and 2 of episode 276. And I will see you guys right back here on Monday for Monday Night Raw, where Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins is confirmed for the Universal Championship, guys. Thank you so much. Hit that thumbs up, and I will see you right back here for Monday Night Raw. Take care.